Welcome into Market Day Report. I am Scott Shelody, otherwise known as the Cow Guy, sitting here all day long wearing a black and white jacket. No shame, right? No shame. Let's take a look at the markets, though. That's what you really want to see. Let's take a look at corn. Well, we've went from one lower to one higher. There's a big turnaround for you. March is 1 penny higher. 6.53 3/4 is last. May's up a cent to 6.53 1/2. So they're both 6.53 1/2. March and May, that spread's trading for zero. Let's take a look and see what soybeans have in store for us. They're the ones that were on a rocket shot earlier today. We've got Jan up 34 1/4 cents to 15.01 even, but we're trying to put a 15 in front of that March. We're 14.93 3/4. That's up 23 cents. We're only about a penny off the highs there. So soybeans coming in strong. Let's take a look at wheat. Chicago wheat market. What's that doing? Well, we're off a couple of cents here. 2 1/4 cents lower in the March to 7.44 1/2. Well, May's off 2 1/4 cents as well to 7.52 1/2 there. All right, let's take a look at the hard red wheat in Kansas City. What's that wheat market look like? That's a little lower than even, say, Chicago. 7 1/4 cents lower in that March contract to 8.32 1/2. May's off 7 cents to 8.28. 8.29 now. 8.29 even. 6 1/4 cents lower. So ticked up just a tad. Still about 2 1/4 cents off the lows. All right. Spring wheat, Minneapolis. Let's go check that one. 6 cents lower in the fronts. That's March 9.03 even as last. Trying to put a 9 on that May in the front, but it's 8.96 1/2. It's failed. It's off 4.5 cents. The high is 9.06 1/2. So we've had the high is about 10 cents ago, and we're plumbing the depths here on the lows. We're about a half cent off the lows. That'll give you an idea visually about where we're at with that contract. Cotton is up 262 points to 85.20, and that's 35 cents off the highs. So that's been strong all morning. Let's bring in our next guest analyst. That's going to be Todd Horwitz. He's with Bubba Trading in Las Vegas. Todd, thanks for being on the show today. I can barely say this morning. We're about 11 minutes away from the top of the hour, noon here Central Time. What's happening in your mind? I mean, boy, we started off the first couple 3 days here. It's not been a very ugly. It's not been a very good. It's been ugly. Producers got to be hurting a little bit, but things coming back here a little bit today. It's been a consumer's market up until now.
You know, Scott, it's been really a strange market to start the year off. I think that, we look at what's going on and we try to look through things logically, and logically nothing makes sense right now. I think that, again, I'm a big believer that this is going to be a big year for the commodities and especially the grain markets, but so far have not been proved correctly. But we're still lacking the overall volume and the overall trade into these markets. And I think, everybody thought, well, the calendar's going to turn, it's going to be magic, and it's 2023. Well, I think in the next couple of weeks, we're going to get the real answers to where we're headed. But I do still believe that we're headed much, much higher. Yeah,
I mean, that's a little different than we've been hearing folks showing some concern about putting the most expensive crop in the ground this year than we've ever put ever. At the same time, we might see it's a fact. China, the European Union, and the U.S. are all slowing together. So those economies could be struggling. And if the Fed continues to raise rates, even in the middle of a recession, which I think we're in, but what do I know? That could start to really, hurt the economy. All the while we're waiting for the stuff to come out of the ground. That could make for some not so great prices come harvest time.
It could do exactly that. And I think one thing we got to remember, Scott, about a recession, if you're going to wait for some economist to tell you that you're in a recession, I think you're making a very big mistake. The best way to tell if you're in a recession is look in your own checking account, your own balance in your bank, and find out if you're in a personal recession. That'll tell you what the rest of the world is doing. But the slowing, we're still going to eat, Scott. This is the thing that does not make any sense. We still have to eat, whether the economy is slowing or not. People are going to eat food, and they're not going to slow down. We know that. So it's just a very strange situation that we're in, and I think it will resolve itself out. And I do think for farmers and producers, it has to resolve the upside. Otherwise, you may see some non-planters this year.
All right. Well, I mean, to your point, Todd, if we do run out of food, I'm going to be the last guy alive. How about that for you? There you go. All right. We're going to go away. We're going to pay some bills. We're going to come back and talk more with Todd Horwitz after this. All right. Welcome back. Let's talk about proteins. Baby, you and me, right? What's that song go? All right. Let's talk about live cattle. I don't have to be singing anymore. Live cattle in Chicago. Whoa. Okay. 57 cents lower. 156.77. A nickel off the lows. This is trading heavy. 60 cents lower in April. 160.67. And that too is just a nickel off the low. So we're getting dangerously low to set new lows. We're going to keep an eye on it for you. Why don't we take a look at feeder cattle, see if we have anything different there? We really don't. Jan's off 97 cents to 182.82. That's a tick off the lows there. Ouch. And then we want to look at the March. That's $1.02 lower, 185.52, and that's a nickel off the low. So feeder cattle, live cattle, both trading heavy as we go into the noon hour here, Central Time. Lean hogs, Feb, that's off $2.15. That's taking it on the chin a little bit here. 80.37 is last there. About 30 cents or 20 cents off the lows. April's down $1.42 to 90.10. Let's see if Todd Horowitz has anything to say about these protein prices. Todd, trading kind of heavy when we go over there to look at the pigs and hogs and the cattle. What do you think?
Well, I think, look, we're doing fine. Look at where we are based on a chart. And as we've talked about a lot, if oil was coming down a little bit, which it has, listen, it's in the low 70s, you would see, you'd see the cattle a little bit better. And certainly we're at the upper end of the range. I think we're still in that range-bound trade. I don't think they're going down. I just don't think they're going much higher unless there's some kind of emergency. And hogs will go lower while oil is lower. And as oil goes back up, hogs will go back up. I think it's just a question of which protein are they going to buy. And that's really what it looks like to me.
We need a little bit more time too, I think. I mean, I want your point of view on this, but we're going to wait through China getting through their COVID. I mean, nobody likes to see people get sick and die, but it does look as though they're going to reach herd immunity a lot faster than they would have with the old way they're doing things. So they can come online again. That demand could be coming back sooner rather than later, but we still see a slowing China, a slowing European Union, a slowing U.S. So we do have some things to wrestle with there. So we've got kind of stories to tell on both sides of the coin, and I think we just need more time to figure out which one's going to prevail.
I agree. I don't have a problem with it. But again, I go back to the first thing I said is that they're going to eat.
Yeah.
COVID or not, slowing or not, the one thing that we know that doesn't slow too much is the consumption of food, and especially with population that continues to kind of grow. So there's a lot of things to look at. There's a lot of factors that'll affect these overall, but in the big picture, I think that the proteins are in the middle. Right. That's right. I know we're wrapping up, so I'll say goodbye.
Yeah, you got the hint. That's good. All right, appreciate your content. Thanks very much, Todd Horowitz, Bubba Trading from Las Vegas. I'm in Nashville, so I can throw this back to Suzanne.